He married a disabled black woman. But what happened on their wedding night left him speechless. The ballroom glittered like a dream. Golden chandeliers cast soft light on polished floors as guests formed a circle around the newlyweds on the dance floor. David, tall and confident in a cream suit, looked down at his bride with nothing but love. Umla sat regally in her wheelchair, her white satin gown flowing like silk water over the wheels. A delicate tiara sparkled beneath her veil, and her smile? It could melt stone. Tio many, they looked mismatched. But to David, Umla was perfect, brilliant, beautiful, unshakably powerful. Their love story was never conventional. David, 31, was a white tech entrepreneur, the face behind several thriving startups. Umla, also 31, was a disability rights advocate, an acclaimed speaker, and a published expert in accessible design. They met at a global conference, David speaking on innovation, Umla on inclusion. He forgot every other speaker that day. But her? He remembered everything. The way she challenged a CEO in the crowd with calm precision. The way she lit up the stage without ever leaving her seat. Their handshake lasted a second too long. Their first coffee date turned into 4 hours of laughter and soul-deep conversation. But love wasn't always easy. Strangers stared when they went out, judging, assuming. Some thought he was her caregiver. Others whispered, "Is he doing this for attention?" Even his colleagues tiptoed around awkward questions. "Is she okay being out this late? Do you think she can have kids?" David's own mother gently hesitated. "She's lovely, dear. But are you sure about this life?" David was sure, because Umla never asked for pity. She didn't need saving. She just needed to be seen, and David didn't see a wheelchair, he saw her. Umla, who had spent years building emotional walls to protect herself from men who pitted, fetishized, or tested her, finally began to believe. This man wasn't drawn to her for novelty. He was simply drawn to her. Their wedding was a celebration of cultures, courage, and quiet defiance. She wore her late mother's earrings. He wore beadwork gifted by her father. Loved ones from around the world gathered, not just to witness a union, but to celebrate a revolution of love. But behind Umla's radiant smile was a truth she had hidden for a long, long time. Later that night, in their candlelit honeymoon suite, David wheeled her inside gently. The room glowed with rose petals and soft music. David poured champagne, his eyes soft and glowing. Umla, still in her wedding dress, looked up. "David, can we sit for a moment?" He joined her without hesitation. "There's something I need to tell you," she said, calm but deliberate. "I needed to know who you really were. Not just the man in public, but the man when no one's watching." David leaned in, listening. "You know my story. Spinal cord injury at 21. Doctors said I'd never walk again. And for a long time, they were right." He nodded. "But 2 years ago, I enrolled in an experimental neurorehab trial. No promises, just a chance. And slowly, I started to feel things again. My toes, my legs. I can walk, David. Not far, not without pain. But I can." His eyes widened. "You can?" She raised a hand gently. "Yes. But I chose not to share it. Not out of shame, but out of necessity. I've had men love me after they found out. As if that changed my value. I needed to know you love me now. As I am." David didn't hesitate. He reached for her hand. "Umla, I love your fire, your mind, your soul. If you never stood again, I'd still be the luckiest man alive." Her eyes filled with emotion. "Then I'd like to show you something." Carefully, Umla shifted. Her hands pressed into the mattress. Her legs slowly lowered to the floor. They trembled. David stood instinctively, but she motioned for him to stay. With determination in every breath, Umla stood. Her dress shimmered in the candlelight. One foot forward, then another. Step by unsteady step, she crossed the room. Until she reached his arms, David said nothing. He just held her, and in that moment, there was no shock, only awe. She wasn't proving anything. She was trusting him. "You didn't have to do this," he whispered. "I know," she replied. "But I wanted to, not to impress you, to trust you." He smiled. "Then know this, nothing changes. Not my love, not my heart, not my choice." She exhaled, finally at peace. "You always say the perfect thing," she whispered. "No," he chuckled, brushing a curl from her forehead. "I just say what's true." They sat on the bed. Her legs ached, but her face glowed with joy. "You know," she began, "people think the hardest part of disability is physical. The pain, the stairs, the stairs. But it's not. It's trust. Trusting that someone will love all of you, not just the parts they want to fix." David listened, soaking in every word. "I've met men who were kind, curious, even sweet, until I said no. You? You never made my chair the center of our story." He kissed her hand, because it never was. "That's why I waited. I needed to be sure. I didn't want my ability to walk, limited as it is, to become some kind of prize. I love you," he said, "exactly as you are." That night, they didn't just make memories. They built a new foundation, one of understanding, of truth, of freedom. In the morning, sunlight spilling into the room, Umlar rolled toward the mirror, adjusted her veil, and smiled at her reflection. "Still think you're the luckiest man alive?" she teased. David grinned from the doorway. "Even more than yesterday." Downstairs, a guest whispered, "He must really love her. She's so lucky." Umla overheard. She leaned close to David and said, "Should I tell her I booked the entire hotel for our honeymoon?" He laughed. "Now let her stay amazed." Weeks later, Umla decided to share her truth with the world. Not for applause, but for awareness, she posted a video titled, "What They Miss When I Stand." She began seated, telling her story calmly. Mid-sentence, she rose, with a cane, took a few steps, and returned to her chair. "People cheer when I stand," she said, "but they miss the strength it takes to sit. This chair isn't my weakness, it's my freedom." The video went viral. Reporters asked David what it was like to be married to someone so brave that he answered simply, "She's not brave because she stood, she's brave because she waited to love out loud when it was finally safe." Their life unfolded like any other. Good days, tough ones, therapy sessions, product launches, vacations with too many stairs. And through it all, honesty. On their third anniversary, David gave Umla a journal. Inside the first page, he wrote, "I fell in love with a woman who rolls, that I married one who walks. But I'll grow old beside the one who moves hearts, no matter how she gets there." Umla cried. Not because it was romantic, but because it was true. That night, they danced point one step at a time and no more secrets. Just love, tested, trusted, and true.